Now let us see the climatic controls of in general. The climatic controls in general are the latitudes, the altitudes, pressure winds, distance from the sea, ocean currents, relief. When we talk about the latitudes, for example, a land is located nearby to the equator. There it experiences very hot temperatures because the sun rays falls directly. This we can know with the knowledge of the latitudes. Then when we move to the next part, altitudes, the altitudes means the level of the land from the sea level. As you move away from the sea level and go higher, the temperatures go on falling down. So altitudes definitely have their influence on the place of the climate. And pressure and winds, basing on the movement of the air and in which latitude they are present and at which altitude they are present, that also brings variation in the movement of the winds with the force what they are coming. So they reduce the heat air towards the other side, and so they brings the cool air and they start changing the winds. So we have that movement that will be affecting the atmospheric temperature of a place. Distance from the sea, when we are close to a sea or a water body, the temperatures remain moderate because the water absorbs the heat and maintains the land to be at the normal stage. When we are away from a sea, it definitely doesn't have much influence on the land, so it becomes very problematic. And here we have dry when compared to the lands which are closer to the sea. And when we have the ocean currents bring in the warm ocean currents in the winter season, and the similar way they take away the warmness in the summer and bring the cool ocean currents. So these ocean currents also affect the climate of a place. Then coming to the relief, when we are staying at a place where it is very highly elevated, like for example you are staying at a mountain or a hilly region, when it is very high, if it is objecting the rain bearing clouds and all, one side you have heavy rains while the other side, leeward side, will relatively be dry. So these all factors directly influence the climate of a place. That is the reason why they are rightly known as climate controls. So now let us find out what are the factors that influence the Indian climatic condition. Now we shall discuss about the factors that are affecting the India's climatic condition. First, let us take about the latitudinal extent of India. As we all know that India has one of the important tropics passing through India, that is the Tropic of Cancer. The Tropic of Cancer passes through the Rann of Kutch in Gujarat towards the eastern part of India. So half of the India falls into the tropical zone while the other half falls into the subtropical zone. So India rightly has a mixture of tropical and the subtropical climate effect for us. So northern India receives much less heat when compared to the southern India because it falls into the tropical zone and that falls into the temperate zone. So like this we have temperature being influenced by the latitudes of India, that is especially the Tropic of Cancer, because the Tropic of Cancer passes through the center of India. Next we have the another important factor, that is the altitude. The altitude, as I mentioned earlier, is the level above from the sea level. We have Himalayas, the mountain range. The average height of the mountains is around 6,000 meters in the inner layers of the Himalayas or the greater Himalayas, which object the movement of the winds which are coming from the other side, from the Central Asia. And in the similar way we have the coastal areas which are 30 meters above the normal land sea level. So altitude also plays a very vital role in determining the temperature of a place. As I mentioned earlier, when we move away from sea level or when we are moving higher towards from the sea level to the higher elevation towards the atmosphere, we get the temperatures dropping down. And the third important factor, that is the pressure winds. The pressure winds are upper circulating winds, pressure and the surfacing winds, and the circulating winds. These all winds which originate in the local regions and pass on through different passes and gather the moisture and everything and influence the land masses. So we have different effects of this one. First major effect what we have is the Coriolis effect. Generally in India we get winds which are coming from the other parts, but when the winds which are coming from the northern side, we get them and we do not receive much rainfall, because the winds which are coming from the northern regions, which are in the subtropical regions, get the high pressure belts. From that high pressure belts, they start to move towards the southern side, towards the eastern southern side. That is, when the earth is rotating, because of the Coriolis effect, the earth moves round and the winds starts to move in the reverse direction. Like on the north they move towards the eastern side, while on the west they move towards the on the south they move towards the western side. This is the reverse law or the Ferrell law, where it states that because of the movement of the earth, the movement of the winds on the northern hemisphere move towards the eastern side, while in the southern hemisphere they move towards the western side. This is a Coriolis effect stated by the Ferrell's law. And because of this, though the northern hemisphere, though the subtropical regions or the high pressure belts in the north brings the high pressure winds towards the Indian side, but India doesn't receive any rainfall, because these winds do not carry any kind of rainfall or moisture with them. But when it comes to southern region, the southern ocean, from where the high pressure belts again start to move on, they move towards the equator with the movement, with gathering of the entire warm moisture which is over the oceans, and then they move towards the equator, and from equator they turn towards the eastern side. So we get the monsoons which are coming from the south and the western side tilting towards the eastern side. So we experience heavy rainfalls in the Indian mainland because of the southwest monsoons which are coming from the southern ocean. So we have winds coming from north, coming from south. From the north we get winds but no rains. From south we get winds and we also get heavy rainfall. And we also have jet streams. The streams which are coming from the western side are having very huge, enormous energy with them, and they come with a huge force. That is the reason why they are known as jet streams. These jet streams generally come at a degrees of the latitudes like 27 degrees to 30 degrees, wherein they travel with a speed of 110 degrees or 110 kilometers in summer, while in winter it goes up to 184 kilometers. So that's how the jet streams also influence the climate of any particular place. The main factors which are affecting the climate of India are the latitudes, because of Tropic of Cancer, the altitudes, the Himalayas and the coastal regions, the third, the pressure winds, the fourth, the Coriolis effect, the Ferrell's law, and the southwest monsoons, and finally, not last and the least, but it is the jet streams which are coming with a very huge speed. These all are the important factors which influence the India's climatic condition.